I stare at Daniel's phone, my hand trembling. The screen glows with messages I never expected to see. I've always felt like you're deeper than any man I've ever met. The text from Sky blazes on the screen. Haley. Daniel's voice breaks through my frozen thoughts. His face tightens with concern as he watches me scroll through the messages. I wanted you to see these right away. Something feels wrong. My throat constricts as I tap to earlier conversations. What started as casual chit-chat after our engagement announcement has morphed into something inappropriately intimate, something calculated. How long has this been happening? I managed to ask, sinking onto our kitchen stool. Daniel runs his hand through his dark hair, a nervous habit I've come to recognize in our 3 years together. The first message came right after Christmas dinner, remember? When we told everyone about the engagement. Christmas dinner. The memory floods back with painful clarity. Mom's face when we shared our news. Not joy, not excitement. Just a quick glance toward my half-sister before she said, "Brielle's going to be crushed." Not congratulations, not happiness for her oldest daughter, just concern for Brielle, always Brielle. Daniel had squeezed my hand under the table then, our private signal when family tensions rose. Minutes later, Brielle stormed away from the table, her chair scraping across Mom's pristine hardwood floors. I scroll further through the messages, my stomach knotting tighter with each flirtatious comment. She mentions things about our relationship that aren't public knowledge. I look up at Daniel. She knew about our trip to Sedona last month. About that silly argument we had about paint colors for the guest room. Exactly. Daniel sits beside me, close but not touching, giving me space to process. That's what bothered me most, the things she knows that she shouldn't. The pieces click together in my mind, a horrible pattern emerging. Sky Brielle's friend from college. The one who always seems to hover at family gatherings. The one who watches too closely. "You've been avoiding family dinners," I whisper, the realization dawning. "This is why." Daniel nods, shame flickering across his face though he's done nothing wrong. She makes comments, stands too close. "I didn't want to cause problems with your family, but my family is causing problems for us." The words taste bitter on my tongue. I tap through more messages, finding one from 3 days ago. "Maybe we should meet up, just to talk? There's so much I want to say to you in person." My chest burns with each new discovery. This isn't random. This is targeted. This is... Wait. I pause on a screenshot Sky accidentally sent to Daniel, a partial conversation with someone else. The other person's contact name isn't visible, but their words punch through me like a physical blow. If someone destroyed my marriage, maybe I can destroy someone else's before it begins. My hands go cold. That voice in the text, I know it. I've heard its petulant demands my entire life. I've accommodated its needs, soothed its tantrums, stepped aside for its spotlight. "Brielle," I whisper. "She's behind this." Daniel wraps an arm around my shoulders, steadying me. "I'm sorry, Haley. I didn't know how to tell you." The history of my life with Mom and Brielle unfolds before me, a highlight reel of second-place birthdays, of Christmas mornings where my gifts were practical while Brielle's were extravagant. The aftermath of Dad leaving when Mom clung to her baby girl while I became the responsible one, the understanding one. The one who made room for everyone else's feelings. All these years, I say, my voice stronger than I expect. I've made excuses for them. For Mom always putting Brielle first. For Brielle's tantrums and jealousy. "You wanted to keep the peace," Daniel says softly, his thumb tracing circles on my shoulder. "No," I say, standing up. The kitchen suddenly feels too small, too confining. I wanted to belong. I wanted them to love me the same way they love her. My phone rings, Mom's name flashing on the screen. The timing feels like a cosmic joke. "Let me guess," I say, showing Daniel the screen. "She's calling to tell me I should tone down our wedding plans because Brielle's divorce will be finalized right before. Or maybe she thinks we should postpone altogether, out of sensitivity." Daniel's eyes widen. "She wouldn't ask that." "She already has, twice." I silence the call, a small act of defiance that sends electricity through my veins. I walk to our living room window, staring out at the Arizona sunset painting the mountains in fierce oranges and reds. Tears stream down my face, but something hardens inside me, a resolve I've never felt before. This ends now. My voice doesn't waver. They're not sabotaging our wedding. They're not sabotaging us. I wipe my tears, feeling Daniel's presence behind me, solid and unwavering. For the first time in my life, I have someone who puts me first. Someone who shows me what real love looks like. It's time I learned how to protect that love. This ends now. I repeat, and the words feel like a vow. Next morning, the coffee shop bustles with morning regulars, but I barely notice them. My focus narrows to the woman across from me, Vanessa, Sky's roommate who shifts uncomfortably in her seat. I shouldn't be doing this. Her fingers tap nervously against her mug. But what they're planning isn't right. What exactly are they planning? I keep my voice steady despite the knot tightening in my stomach. Vanessa pulls out her phone, taps the screen several times, then slides it across the table. Sky left her laptop open last night. I saw everything. The screen displays a group text between Sky, Brielle, and me. Breath catches mom. Not just Brielle orchestrating this scheme, but my own mother participating. Brielle, did he respond to your last message? Sky, nothing yet. Maybe he's getting suspicious. Brielle, keep pushing. We need to know if he'll cheat before Haley makes the biggest mistake of her life. Mom, remember, we're doing this for Haley's own good. She never sees these men clearly. I scroll further, my coffee cooling untouched. Brielle, she always gets everything. I just want her to know how it feels to lose something for once. Mom, Brielle, focus. This is about protecting your sister. Brielle, whatever. Same result. The timestamp shows this exchange happened yesterday after Daniel had already shown me the messages, after he'd already proven his loyalty. There's more, Vanessa whispers, reaching over to swipe to another conversation. This one between just Brielle and Sky, without Mom's moderating presence. Brielle, if someone destroyed my marriage, maybe I can destroy someone else's before it begins. Karma's a bitch, right? Sky, this feels wrong. What if he's actually good for her? Brielle, trust me, he's not. No man is. Besides, I'm paying you, remember? My hand trembles as I slide the phone back. She's paying her? Vanessa nods, shame coloring her features. $500 if she can get Daniel to meet her alone. $1,000 if she gets proof he's unfaithful. The cafe suddenly feels too small. The conversations around us too loud. I press my fingers against my temples, trying to process this new reality. Why are you showing me this? I ask. Because my brother went through something similar last year. His fiancée's family hated him, tried everything to break them up. Vanessa's eyes hold genuine concern. They split up. He's still not over it. I can't watch it happen to someone else. I thank her, my voice hollow even to my own ears. Outside, leaning against my car 15 minutes later, I call Tara, my maid of honor since college. They're trying to set Daniel up, I tell her, the words bitter on my tongue. Mom's in on it. Tara's silence speaks volumes before she finally responds. I wish I could say I'm surprised. You're not? Haley, they've been undercutting you since I've known you. Remember your college graduation? Your mom spent the entire dinner talking about Brielle's community college award. The memory crashes through me, mom beaming over Brielle's participation certificate, while my cum laude diploma sat unmentioned in its leather folder. And your promotion last year? Tara continues. Your celebration dinner somehow turned into a pep talk for Brielle after her breakup with what's his name. Trevor, I supply automatically. Your wedding should be safe from sabotage, Hales. Have you considered uninviting them? The suggestion hits me like cold water. Uninvite my own mother? My sister? The thought should feel impossible. Instead, it spreads through me with unexpected relief. My phone buzzes with a text from Aunt Laura, Dad's sister, who has watched this dynamic play out for years. Just checking on wedding plans. Need any help? I hesitate, then type. Can I call you? I need perspective from someone who knows our family. Her response comes immediately. Of course, sweetheart. 20 minutes later, sitting in my parked car outside the cafe, I find myself pouring everything out to Aunt Laura. The messages, the setup, Mom's involvement. "This isn't normal, sweetheart," she says when I finish. "None of this is how family should treat you." But maybe they're right to test him, I hear myself say, the old pattern of making excuses rising automatically. Maybe they're just concerned. Stop. Aunt Laura's voice turns uncharacteristically sharp. Listen to yourself. You're still defending them. Would you ever do something like this to Brielle? Of course not. Then why accept it being done to you? The question hangs between us, unanswerable. I have your father's journals, she says after a moment. The ones from when he first left. He wrote about this pattern, June, always choosing Brielle, always making you the responsible one. He felt helpless to stop it. My throat tightens. He left instead. Yes, her voice softens. That was wrong of him. But he saw what was happening. And now you're seeing it too. The question is, what will you do? I watch a young couple exit the cafe, hands intertwined, laughing about something private between them. Daniel and I deserve that simple joy, without manipulation, without sabotage. I need to protect my wedding, I say finally, and my marriage. Yes, you do. Aunt Laura's approval warms me, and I'll help however I can. As I hang up, a new text arrives from Daniel. You okay? Been gone a while. I tap out my response, each word feeling like a declaration. Coming home now. I know what we need to do. The drive home unfolds before me, each mile cementing my resolve. This wedding will happen, on my terms, without their toxic interference. Some bridges need to burn for new ones to rise. 2 days later, my phone vibrates for the third time this morning. June's name flashes on the screen, the missed call count now reaching 17 since yesterday. I press the silence button, placing it face down on my desk as I try to focus on the marketing proposal due by noon. Haley? My coworker Rachel peers over our shared cubicle wall. Your mother's online too, says it's urgent. The familiar knot tightens in my stomach. Tell her I'm in a meeting. I did, twice. Rachel's eyebrows lift. She's insisting. I take a slow breath, remembering Dr. Bennett's advice from yesterday's therapy session. You've spent your life accommodating behavior that would never be tolerated from strangers. Family doesn't earn the right to mistreat you. Please tell her I'll call back when I'm available. My voice remains steady, surprising even me. Rachel nods, disappearing to deliver the message. My phone buzzes with a text from Uncle Greg. Your mother is beside herself. You know how sensitive Brielle is. Family sticks together through everything. The word everything catches in my throat like a fishbone. Does everything include orchestrating a plan to destroy my engagement? Does everything cover decades of playing second fiddle to Brielle's theatrical needs? My fingers hover over the keyboard, tempted to respond with justifications, explanations, apologies, the familiar dance steps of placating my mother's side of the family. Instead, I set the phone aside and return to my work. The piece lasts exactly an hour. Haley, my supervisor appears in the doorway. There's someone causing a scene in reception, says she's your mother and needs to speak with you immediately. The blood drains from my face. I'm sorry, Mark, I'll handle it. The elevator ride to the lobby stretches like taffy, giving me time to notice my reflection in the polished doors. Shoulders back, chin lifted, eyes clear. I look nothing like the woman who'd have rushed to smooth things over 3 months ago. June stands in the center of the lobby, designer purse clutched in white knuckles, performing the role of concerned mother for an audience of uncomfortable receptionists. There you are, she rushes forward, voice pitched to Carrie. I've been so worried. You haven't answered any of my calls. This isn't appropriate, June. I keep my voice low, conscious of watching eyes. I'm at work. When else am I supposed to reach you? You've shut out your own family. Her voice breaks on cue, a technique I've seen deployed at family gatherings, parent-teacher conferences, and restaurant tables with disappointing service. Let's step outside. I guide her toward the glass doors, maintaining enough distance to prevent the arm grab I know is coming. In the courtyard, June switches tactics, her face softening into practiced concern. Honey, everyone's worried about you. This behavior isn't like you. Which behavior exactly? I ask, surprised by my own calm. Setting boundaries? Protecting my wedding from sabotage? Or expecting my family to celebrate rather than undermine my happiness? She blinks rapidly. That's ridiculous. No one's undermining anything. I sit on a bench, gesturing for her to join me. When she does, I take out my phone and pull up the screenshots I've been carrying like armor. I have the evidence of what you and Brielle planned. Her face goes slack, the color draining from her cheeks. Not denial, recognition. Those messages could mean anything, she stammers after a moment. Brielle was upset after her divorce. You know how emotional she gets. Yes, I do know. I swipe to another screenshot. Just like I know you told her, and I quote, maybe Haley will listen if she sees how much this is hurting you. June's hand flies to her throat. You're taking that completely out of context. The context is my wedding. The context is my happiness. The context is a lifetime of stepping aside so Brielle could have the spotlight. The words flow easier now, like a dam finally breaking. I'm done with that context. After everything I've done for you. What exactly have you done for me, June? The question hangs between us, genuine curiosity rather than accusation. When was the last time you celebrated something of mine without making it about Brielle? She opens her mouth, closes it. The silence stretches. My phone buzzes with a text from Daniel. Security company confirmed for the wedding, all set. Something loosens in my chest at the reminder of his unwavering support. Of Aunt Laura calling out the family enablers in her scathing group email last week. Of Tara organizing what she calls a joy shield of bridesmaids committed to preserving our day. I stand, smoothing my skirt. I need to get back to work. Haley Marie Martin, we are not finished discussing this. June rises, the maternal authority tone sliding back into place. Actually, we are. I meet her eyes directly. My wedding will proceed as planned. You and Brielle are not invited. Anyone who can't respect that decision is welcome to skip it too. You can't possibly. I can. I am. The words feel like stones dropping from my lips, heavy with finality. I deserve a joyful wedding day. June's face hardens, the mask of concern falling away completely. You'll regret cutting out your own family. Blood is thicker than water. A small, sad smile touches my lips. The full saying is, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. It means chosen bonds are stronger than accidental ones. I take a step back. I'm choosing joy over obligation. I'm choosing Daniel and the family we'll build together. This isn't over, she warns, gripping her purse like a shield. For me, it is. I turn and walk back toward the building, expecting her to follow, to grab my arm, to create the scene she came for. Instead, silence trails behind me. That evening, I sit cross-legged on our bed, Daniel beside me reviewing the wedding security plan, clear protocols for uninvited guests, key allies briefed on handling potential disruptions. Alternative transportation arrangements for added security. My finger hovers over June's contact information on my phone. The memories of seeking her approval flash through my mind, school achievements met with distracted nods, career advancements acknowledged with, "That's nice, dear." Engagement news overshadowed by concern for Brielle. I press block contact. I do the same for Brielle, for Uncle Greg, for Aunt Sharon, for each enabling cousin who's called to tell me I'm being unreasonable. The physical sensation surprises me, a weight lifting from my shoulders. I hadn't realized I'd been carrying my entire life. Daniel notices my expression. You okay? Better than okay. I lean against his shoulder. For the first time, I'm not managing everyone else's feelings about my life. He kisses the top of my head. Your wedding coordinator called. Everything's ready for Saturday. My phone chimes with a text from cousin Megan, the only family member who saw through Brielle's manipulation years ago. They're planning something, but we're ready. I set the phone aside without anxiety. Whatever storm they're brewing, we've built shelters strong enough to withstand it. Let them try, I whisper, feeling strangely peaceful. This day belongs to us. On the wedding day, the Arizona sun streams through the hotel suite windows, bathing everything in golden light as Haley opens her eyes. For a moment, she lies still, waiting for the familiar knot of anxiety to form in her stomach. It doesn't come. Look who slept through the night, Tara says, appearing in the doorway with 2 steaming mugs. The scent of fresh coffee fills the room. I've never seen a bride so calm the morning of her wedding. Haley accepts the mug, savoring the warmth against her palms. I think I made peace with everything yesterday. The suite transforms into a flurry of activity as bridesmaids arrive with garment bags and makeup cases. Champagne corks pop, and laughter fills every corner of the room. The makeup artist works on Haley's face, her brush pausing mid-stroke. Most brides can't stop fidgeting, she comments, tilting Haley's chin. You're like a meditation instructor over here. Haley smiles. I know exactly what I want today. Tara intercepts Haley's buzzing phone, screening messages with practiced efficiency. Megan says everything's set at the venue. Security is in place. She exchanges a meaningful glance with Andrea across the room. Before slipping into her dress, Haley takes a moment alone in the bathroom. She places both hands on the counter, looks at her reflection, and takes 3 deep breaths. The woman staring back at her stands taller than she did months ago. You did it, she whispers to herself. The wedding coordinator's discreet knock interrupts the final touches. Her professional smile doesn't quite mask the tension around her eyes as she steps inside. Just wanted to let you know everything's proceeding perfectly, she says, voice carefully modulated. We had a small situation at the gate, but security handled it beautifully. Haley's hand still on her earring. Mom and Brielle? The coordinator nods. They arrived in formal wear, insisting they had every right to attend. Security denied entry per your instructions. Andrea moves to Haley's side. Do you need a minute? Actually, I don't, Haley says, surprising herself with the steady calm in her voice. She finishes securing her earring with steady fingers. Her phone buzzes with a text from Daniel. Heard about the gate. Do you want me to do anything? Haley types back. They can't touch this day unless we let them. Outside, the venue glows in afternoon sunlight. White chairs arranged in perfect rows face an arch draped with pale pink roses and trailing greenery. The string quartet plays softly as guests settle in, completely unaware of the drama unfolding at the property entrance. Through the window of her preparation room, Haley catches a glimpse of Brielle's voice rising above the security guard's patient responses. Her sister's face contorts with familiar rage while their mother stands beside her, dabbing at tears that appear on cue. Your sister has made her wishes clear, the guard says, his tone respectful but unwavering. Family has rights. June's voice carries on the breeze. This is my daughter's wedding. Haley turns away from the window, oddly untouched by the scene. For the first time in her life, their voices sound like background noise rather than sirens demanding her attention. The wedding planner discreetly arranges for a rideshare, and Haley watches through the window as her mother and sister are escorted to the waiting car. Brielle's final outburst floats back toward the venue. You'll regret cutting out your own family. Then they're gone, and the only sounds are the quartet's gentle melodies and the happy murmur of guests. Ready? Aunt Laura appears in the doorway, replacing the father who should have stood there. Her eyes shine with pride. The ceremony unfolds like a perfect dream. Haley walks down the aisle, her focus entirely on Daniel's face. Tears fill his eyes as she approaches, and he mouths, "You're stunning." The minister speaks of choosing paths wisely and protecting what matters most. When they exchange vows, Haley's voice rings clear and strong. I promise to protect your joy as fiercely as you've protected mine. Their kiss seals more than a marriage, it confirms a partnership built on respect and boundaries. At the reception, Haley finds herself truly present for every moment. Daniel surprises her with a song dedicated to the strongest woman I know, and Aunt Laura's toast brings happy tears to every eye. To choosing joy over obligation, she says, raising her glass, and to building the family you deserve. The dance floor fills with people who genuinely celebrate their happiness. As Daniel twirls her beneath twinkling lights, Haley realizes with startling clarity, this is what family should feel like. Later, as they cut the cake, Cousin Megan pulls Haley aside. You should know, she whispers. I overheard Mom scolding Brielle during their exit. Said something about taking things too far and seeing clearly now. Haley absorbs this information with curious detachment. Interesting. Do you think it means anything? Megan asks. Haley watches Daniel laughing with his parents across the room, his face alight with unguarded joy. Maybe, but today isn't about them. She rejoins her husband on the dance floor, where their chosen family surrounds them in a circle of genuine celebration. For the first time in her memory, Haley feels perfectly whole. 2 weeks later, the ocean breeze carries away the last of my wedding stress as Daniel and I lounge on our Santa Barbara hotel balcony. I wiggle my toes in the morning sunlight, savoring the quiet. Days without my phone buzzing with family drama feel like learning to breathe again. More coffee? Daniel holds up the carafe from room service, his hair still rumpled from sleep. Please. I close my eyes as he pours, listening to the waves crash below. I could get used to this. The coffee or the peace? He settles back beside me, his leg touching mine. Both. I take a sip and set my cup down to write another postcard, this one to Aunt Laura. We've sent cards to everyone who stood by us, but the stack doesn't include addresses for June or Brielle. That absence feels like progress rather than loss. We spend our days walking barefoot on beaches and our nights wrapped in each other without interruption. For the first time in months, I sleep through until morning without jerking awake, heart racing from dreams of wedding disasters. On our last night, Daniel traces patterns on my bare shoulder as moonlight spills across our bed. What kind of boundaries do we want when we go home? He asks. The question would have paralyzed me months ago. Now it feels like an invitation to build something stronger. I won't block them forever, I say, surprising myself with the certainty in my voice. But I need distance to figure out what healthy looks like for me. Daniel nods, his fingers never stopping their gentle movement. Whatever you decide, I'm with you. That's the difference, I whisper, nestling closer. With you, it's always been a choice, not an obligation. Reality crashes back the next day when we open our front door to find a stack of pink message slips from our answering machine, 3 voicemails from June, and a letter postmarked 2 days after our wedding. Dear Haley, it begins in June's familiar handwriting. There's been a terrible misunderstanding about your wedding day. I hand it to Daniel without finishing, suddenly exhausted. The letter contains no apology, just a careful reframing that positions June as confused rather than complicit. The final paragraph requests we meet for lunch to put this unfortunate incident behind us. A week later, we've also received an email from Brielle blaming her actions on her divorce stress and suggesting I'm being vindictive by shutting her out during her time of need. 3 relatives have called to remind me that life's too short for family estrangement. That day, the pressure to slip back into old patterns weighs on me as I water our houseplants. The doorbell rings and I freeze, somehow knowing who it is before I check the peephole. June stands on our porch, a large tote bag hanging from her shoulder. Her hair is freshly colored, her lipstick perfect as always. The sight of her sends a familiar pang through my chest, that childhood hope of approval that never quite dies. I open the door but don't step back to invite her in. Haley. Her smile is tight at the edges. You look well. The honeymoon agreed with you. Thank you. My voice comes out steadier than I expect. What brings you here? She lifts the tote slightly. Some of Brielle's things. She's going through a hard time and I thought you might want to help your sister. The words hit with calculated precision. Your sister. Help. Hard time. The same hooks that have always pulled me back into their orbit. May I come in? June asks when I don't immediately respond. I step aside, my hospitality reflexes too ingrained to refuse. She settles at our kitchen table without being invited, placing the bag prominently between us. Brielle's staying with me again? June says, her voice dipping into the concerned mother tone I know so well. The divorce has been more difficult than anyone expected, and now she's lost her apartment. I listen without interrupting as June explains how Brielle needs family support, how she's fragile right now, how I could make such a difference by reaching out. The entire monologue unfolds without a single mention of wedding sabotage or apology. For the first time, I see the manipulation as clearly as reading words on a page. The careful avoidance of accountability, the redirection to Brielle's needs. The implicit assignment of responsibility to me for fixing a situation I didn't create. A strange calm settles over me as I realize I no longer feel the pull of these familiar tactics. This isn't my situation to fix, I say when she finally pauses for breath. June blinks, momentarily knocked off script. She's your sister, Haley. Yes, and her choices are her own. I stand, signaling an end to the conversation. I wish you both well, but I won't be taking her things. You don't understand. I do understand, I say quietly, moving toward the door. Better than I ever have. The shock on June's face as I close the door remains with me long after she leaves, the tote bag still clutched in her hands. A week later, my phone rings with Megan's name on the screen. You won't believe what happened, she says without greeting. Aunt June kicked Brielle out of the house. The coffee mug slips from my hand, splashing across the kitchen floor. What? Apparently, Brielle admitted everything. She told June, you were supposed to stop the wedding, and June just snapped. I press the phone closer to my ear, hardly breathing. June said, and I'm quoting Aunt Sharon here, I won't sabotage your sister's happiness for your bitterness. She gave Brielle 24 hours to find somewhere else to stay. The kitchen spins around me as I grip the counter for support. Are you sure? Absolutely sure. The whole family's in chaos. Sharon's furious with June for abandoning Brielle, but Uncle Mike is defending June for the first time in, well, ever. After we hang up, I sit in stunned silence until Daniel finds me. I tell him everything, watching his expression shift from concern to disbelief. They're imploding without you there to absorb the damage, he says finally. 3 days later, June's number appears on my phone. Her voicemail is tearful, acknowledging years of favoritism with a rawness I've never heard from her before. Brielle's angry social media posts reveal more truth than any family holiday ever has. One by one, relatives call to apologize for not seeing the pattern sooner. I listen to each message with a strange detachment, no longer needing these validations but accepting them as the natural justice of truth finally exposed. That evening, Aunt Sharon calls, her voice hesitant. I didn't understand before, Haley. I'm sorry. I've made my peace with it all, I tell her, surprised to discover it's true. After dinner, Daniel finds me in the garden, watching the sunset paint the Arizona sky in fierce oranges and reds. Your mom left another message, he says. Do you want to call her back? I look down at my phone, June's number highlighted on the screen. The wedding album lies open on the patio table, showing our joyful first dance. My finger hovers over the call button as I consider the possibilities. Some bridges, once burned, should stay ash. 6 months later, the aroma of roasting turkey mingles with cinnamon and sage as I slide another casserole into the oven. Outside our kitchen window, golden afternoon light bathes the Prescott Mountains in amber warmth. Need help with anything else? Daniel appears beside me, dish towel slung over his shoulder, his familiar scent of cedar and clean cotton wrapping around me. Just the final touches on the table. I check my watch. Everyone arrives in 40 minutes. 6 months after our wedding, and the simple act of hosting Thanksgiving dinner still feels revolutionary. Previous holidays always unfolded at Mom's house, with me navigating the familiar emotional minefield of Brielle's moods and Mom's expectations. Daniel follows me to our dining room, where autumn-colored placemats and bronze chargers await the finishing touches. I smooth a hand over the tablecloth burnt orange, not navy blue, smiling at the careful place cards I've arranged. Each name represents a conscious choice, a person who celebrates rather than tolerates our happiness. Laura just texted, Daniel says, checking his phone. She's bringing something from your childhood, wouldn't say what. She's full of surprises lately. I arrange a centerpiece of pine cones and candles, recalling how Dad's sister has stepped into the void left by Mom's absence. Weekly calls, handwritten cards, the maternal presence I'd always craved. The doorbell chimes and I straighten, momentarily tense. An old reflex. Daniel catches my eye, his smile knowing but kind. Aunt Laura stands on our doorstep 30 minutes later, silver-streaked hair swept into an elegant updo, holding a cardboard box with care. I'm early, she announces, stepping into our embrace. I wanted a moment before the crowd. Her eyes, so much like my father's, crinkle with mischief. And to give you these privately. Inside the box, wrapped in tissue paper, rest a collection of Christmas ornamentstonese ceramic angels and painted wooden stars I made throughout elementary school. From your mother's attic, Laura explains. When she mentioned donating your childhood things, I insisted these belonged with you. My throat tightens as I lift a salt dough handprint, my 7-year-old palm preserved in time. How did you? Some treasures shouldn't be lost in family crossfire. She squeezes my hand. Your memories belong to you, Haley, not to the narrative they created. Within the hour, our home fills with chosen family. Daniel's parents bringing homemade rolls, Tara arriving with her new fiancé, cousin Megan and Aunt Sharon completing our circle. Conversation flows without the undercurrent of tension that marked previous gatherings. No one walking on eggshells, no placating Brielle's latest crisis. During dinner, my phone buzzes in my pocket. 5 months ago, that sound would have triggered an immediate spike of anxiety, mom demanding attention or Brielle manufacturing drama. I wait until I've passed the sweet potatoes before checking. Congratulations on the promotion. Dinner to celebrate next week, Rachel? My boss's message brings a smile to my face. I share the news, and the table erupts in genuine applause and questions about my new responsibilities. Not one person diminishes my accomplishment or redirects the conversation to someone else's needs. Daniel raises his glass. To Haley, who proves every day that choosing joy isn't selfish, it's necessary. As glasses clink around our table, I scan the faces of people who love without conditions or comparisons. 2 empty chairs stand in the corner of the dining room, not at the table, but not entirely banished. No one mentions them, yet everyone notices. Some losses create space for greater gains. The absence of certain voices allows others to be heard, including, finally, my own. To family, I reply, raising my glass. The kind we choose and the kind that chooses us back.